we're gonna get into callbacks. We're gonna talk about them. We're gonna help each other out. And guess what? We're gonna get that callback.
1, 2, 3, let's switch this up.
Hello, my little honeys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anastasia, also known as your fave social media girl. If you are new, please don't forget to subscribe. And of course, don't forget to turn on the bell notification button if you haven't done so already, so you know every single time that I post, which is on Fridays. I am a Canadian actor based here in Toronto. I post videos about acting, self-love, body positivity, and occasional vlogs. Today is a very informative, important video that I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about because the reality is the chances of doing a callback audition are rare. And I'm not trying to scare anybody or like change course for anybody or anything like that. But especially right now after COVID, I have noticed that callbacks are not as popular as they used to be. They are sort of now doing straight from self-tape. I would say pre-COVID, it was like maybe 75% more in-person auditions, and then the 25, maybe even less, 20% are self-tape auditions. So self-tapes before weren't as super popular way to book or get an audition. Then after you do an in-person audition, they would then call you back to do the callback if you get it. But then getting the callback is the really tough part. Let's get started, honeys. What is a callback? So a callback is a second round of auditions that you do after the first round of auditions. And it is when you literally get a callback from the first round of auditions. It's an opportunity for the casting director, for the producer, for the entire team of the other side of the camera to get to see you again. And not only do they get to see you again, they get to see you in person. So if your first round of auditions were not in person, the callback will always be in person. Then with the callback, they're either looking obviously to see if you fit for the character because they like what you did in your first round of auditions. And sometimes it's also a way to see if you connect with the actor that has already been casted as a main character. That's basically what a callback is. Being called back for a second round of auditions and showcasing the exact same audition that you auditioned for, you are going to be doing the same thing for the callback unless specified otherwise before the callback audition. How do you do a callback? Easily. You don't change a thing. This is the number one mistake that a lot of actors do is that they think when a callback happens, and I was one of those actors, so I'm taking full responsibility for this. I was one of those actors that when I get a callback, I think, oh my God, this is an opportunity for me to showcase everything to them. No, wrong. This is not a time for you to showcase every single range of emotion that you have, unless they specifically ask you for it, and I'll explain why. How the entire process of callback audition goes. You do the self-tape, you send it off, you get a call from your agent saying, hey, you got a callback, it's gonna be tomorrow. You're gonna get the breakdown again. In the breakdown, you're obviously gonna read it and it's gonna tell you, most of the time they'll tell you, you're doing the exact same scene. Check the scene just in case when they send it to you because the script may change within that week and they may have changed a little bit of lines or rearranged a little bit of something. Well, then you have to go base this off the new script, not necessarily the old one that you did. If you're asking you to audition with a completely different scene, well then scratch the first audition. What you're going to do is the way you interpreted the character, the same way in the first round of auditions, is the exact same way. You're gonna take that embodiment that you had for the first round, you're gonna take it and then just apply it to the new scene with the same way. Don't all of a sudden try a new character. That's not the point. They liked that you did that. They liked that you brought the exact same thing. So bring it again to this. Do not change your clothes. Wear the exact same gray t-shirt that you wore. If you were shaved, shave again. If you were not shaved, don't shave. Everything that you did exactly in the first round of auditions, you will be doing again in your callback. That's the reason why you were called back, because they loved what they saw and they want to see it again. Once you get your callback, you're going to check your breakdown to make sure, are you doing a new scene or the same scene? Then when you get into, let's say if it's Zoom, and most of the time right now it will be Zoom, so I'm going to go with this as the first example. You're going to log on to the Zoom and you're going to appear at what's called the waiting room. The waiting room is where they essentially have a casting assistant there. There could be sometimes two, but basically the waiting room, the casting assistant will say, hi Anastasia, like, how are you? Great. Can you stand in your frame? And you would essentially set up your computer so it's like, as if you're like doing a self-tape. My computer will be showing me directly like this, as if I'm actually filming my self-tape. That's how it's supposed to be. They will then check your sound, they will check your lighting, they'll check your frame just to make sure everything is good. In the waiting room, if they made last minute changes to the script, this is where they'll tell you. It's nothing ever huge. I've never had a massive change to the point where I'm like almost rememorizing a half a page. No, it's usually something easy, like they'll either cut a line or they're out of line or they'll ask you to say something different. Then one thing is, don't get discouraged. You will see other actors in the waiting room and they can see you in the beginning, but then after you will be muted and your video will be turned off until it is time for your turn to go into the actual Zoom audition room. So don't be discouraged. You're gonna see other names in there and they can see you. Don't think about it. Don't ignore them. But it sounds rough, but you have to ignore them. And don't watch the other actors too when you're coming on. Because I've done that before where I'm in the waiting room and I watch other actors and yeah, I've judged. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I've judged being like, whatever, I'm better than that. Sounds a little mean girly. I wasn't that bad. But something along the lines of that where you kind of stare and you almost get into a mental competition in your head. So don't do that. It psychs you out. It already creates a bad energy for you. And then the entire time you end up thinking about the other person doing their audition while you're doing your own audition. And you're not even doing the audition and you're kind of just not there. You're not connected and you're not present. So pay attention to your own thing. This is a great opportunity for you to do a breathing exercise if you're really nervous. You can calm yourself down. You can focus about closing your eyes and your feet are planted on the floor. Breathe. You can finish up a warm up. You can do some jumping jacks to kind of let go of that nervous energy. Sometimes you'll be there for 10 minutes. I've been there for 20 minutes waiting. I've been no more than 25, I think, one time because they were really behind. Sometimes I've been there for no more than 5. So it depends. Obviously, don't go make a coffee and come back. Be in the zone, be there, wait, do whatever you gotta do, and just focus on that. Once it's gonna be your time, the casting assistant will come back on and say, hey, Anastasia, you're up next, please be ready. That's sort of your 2-minute mark. Finish up whatever you gotta do, and they will redirect you from the Zoom waiting room into the Zoom audition room. Now, do not be discouraged by the amount of people you will see in the Zoom callback. The Zoom callback will always have a lot of people. I recently had a callback for a commercial. I'm not kidding. I think I counted up to 15 or 16 people on the Zoom call. And it kind of screwed with my head a little bit, but I was able to sort of get myself out of it and be like, I'm not paying attention to this right now. Right now it's about me and my audition and what the director is telling me. They'll introduce themselves. They'll be like, hi, this is blah, blah, blah. He's the director, casting assistant, casting director, whatever. You say hi. And this is kind of where the audition begins. They will kind of tell you how it goes. They'll be like, hey, okay, great. Just want to make sure that you're doing the exact same scene. Yeah, awesome. We're going to get you to slate. This is where essentially the same slate that you will do in your self-tape first round of auditions. If they don't tell you what you want to slate, you just slate the basic. Hi, my name is Anastasia. I'm 5'6", and I'm located in Toronto. Done. The slate is over. They'll already be recording, so don't be alarmed if they're recording. They have to because they have to rewatch these again to, make their decision. After that, you will do the actual scene. You will do the scene, as I said before, 3 million times. You're gonna do it the exact same way as you did your first round of auditions. After that, most of the time, you will get a redirection. The director will be like, great, awesome, loved it. I really like the interpretation you have of this character. Now, I really want you to think about the pain that this person is feeling. We want to see that pain. And you take that, whatever that means to you. You not booking the callback after doesn't mean that what you did was wrong. No, these are your decisions as well as an actor. This is how you see the character as well. And if director likes it, director sees it the same way, then that's when you book. If you don't book, it could also mean that maybe you just didn't have the right look. Maybe you just didn't look like you could have looked too much as the other characters and they couldn't have all the actors look the same. It could also look that they just don't see the character the same way that you do. It could be 3 million things, but don't take it personally. After you do the second round of him giving you the direction, I have had sometimes someone give me another direction again or asks me to do the same thing again. And sometimes, most of the time, they'll be like, that's amazing, thank you so much. Maybe they'll chat about it a little bit about the project. You can maybe make a comment depending if you seem like the time is right to ask a question or whatever. That's kind of it. They'll say, thank you so much for your work, good luck. And that's it. Then the Zoom call is over. Don't ask when they're making the decision. Just let it go. You done, you're done, and Zoom call, that's it. In an in-person audition, it will literally be the exact same thing. You're gonna be in a waiting room, a physical waiting room, where you're gonna check in with the casting assistant, and then when you're ready to go, the casting assistant will be like, okay, great, they're ready for you, go right ahead. You'll walk in, you acknowledge everyone in the room, same thing. There could be up to 10 people sitting in the actual room. You'll get into your, like, the little X on the floor. There will be a camera person, there will be a reader, and then the camera, and you're going to be talking with the reader. You will sometimes get the shittiest readers that you ever had in your entire life. I'm not kidding. Like, it's supposed to be a full-on fight, so there's a lot of, like, you know, passion, everything. And I remember the reader was just kind of like, yeah, okay. Well, why would you do that? Oh my God, honey, give me a little something to work with. And that becomes really, really, really difficult, because at that point, the reader's not giving you anything to work with. So you are better, you're going to work twice as hard to really, really, really connect with this reader. And it's going to be hard, but you're going to do it and you're going to work it. So always prepare. Prepare for the worst, expect the best. Or is it prepare for the best, expect the worst? I don't remember how it goes, but something like that. Just prep for the worst thing to happen. Also, when you get a redirection, don't take it that this means you did it the wrong way. Not at all. The director wants to see if you can do a different range of emotion, because this is also important for the director to see that how do you take direction? How are you able to quickly jump on your feet and switch things around? Because on set, this will happen all the time. They also want to see, can you embody the character, still embodying what you have because they enjoy it, but maybe slightly go to the left a little bit. See if you can do that and if that matches what they're looking for. So it doesn't mean that the first scene that you did was wrong. No, they just want to level it up. Take a moment when you get the redirection. You can ask a question if something doesn't make sense. You know, you can clarify a few things if things don't make sense. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions. And you can say, is it okay if I take just a minute or two to get myself into what I need to get into? I've never had anyone be like, no, you have to go into it. If they say that to you, yikes. I don't even know if you'd want to be a part of a project like that, because they need to respect the actor and the actor's work. Like, I've never seen someone not take a moment and be able to do a really good job. So take that moment. Once the callback is done, this is the most important part. Once the callback is done, you let it go. That's it. And that is something that I'm working on right now, because I have an issue where I'm over obsessing with auditions and I can't stop thinking about them. And I literally think about them every day, all day long, until the next audition comes around. My advice, and anyone's gonna tell you this, let it go. The audition is done and it's done. If you are meant to book it, you will book it. If you are not meant to book it, you will not book it. There are 3,000 million, 100, whatever reasons of why you did not book an audition. And sometimes, and most of the time actually, I should say, it's out of your control. It has nothing to do with you, and that's that. For you to obsess after the callback to be like, why didn't book it? You will never know. And that's the game of this acting industry, that it's always gonna be the unknown game. And you'll have to be able to work with it. And that's what I'm telling myself now. Like, Anna, you wanted to do this. You know that this is like a game. It's a big political game. It's a big lottery game. And you're always gonna be in the unknown, and that's fine. So once the callback is done, honeys, you literally just shake it off. It's really important to just walk it off. I'm not kidding. Like, go outside for a walk, go for a run, go do something physical. Get your body moving and out of the element, because you're gonna be so amped up with this energy. It's gonna be really hard for you to calm down. So that's really, really important. Anyways, my little honeys, this is the end towards my callback. Whoa, what? This is the end of my callback audition video. I'm excited that I did this video because it's an important conversation to have. Callbacks, they can be nerve-wracking and they can be tricky. Honeys, if we have any callback questions or anything to do with auditions in general, whether it's the first round or the second round, whatever it is, please comment down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Honeys, I love you. I hope you have a wonderful Friday, and I'm going to see you all next week. Mwah! Bye, honeys.